There's certainly a lot of negativity in the world, but it's nice to know there are people who strive to do the right thing. In this video, I'll take a look at people who have not only gone out of their way to help others, but have created chain reactions of human kindness that have grown bigger and bigger. Paying it forward is when you help a stranger, but don't ask for the favor to be paid back, but paid forward to the next person. And on and on and on. In this video, I'll show you the most heartwarming times these good deeds have spread into surprising networks of human generosity. Number 15. An 8-year-old boy helps out a soldier. When most 8-year-olds find $20 bills, their first instinct is to put it in their pockets. When Miles Eckert found a 20 on the street outside a Cracker Barrel, he turned around and gave it to a soldier with a note that read, "We like to pay it forward in my family. It's your lucky day." It turned out the boy's father was a soldier who had been killed while on duty. The boy knew what being in the military meant and wanted to show how much he appreciated the soldier's sacrifice and dedication. The boy even included a note thanking the soldier for his good deeds. Young Miles' story would soon go viral as he appeared on a number of television shows, won an award, and even got to meet President George W. Bush. He went on to launch a non-profit organization with his family called Power of 20, and his small donation has inspired many others to donate. And so far, Miles' foundation has raised over $2 million. Number 14. Aaron's Last Wish. People in the service industry have it tough, and no one seemed to realize that quite as much as Aaron Collins, a sentimental man who was regularly touched by the kindness of hard-working servers. Collins died suddenly, but his final wish was for his family to go out to dinner and leave a generous tip, to the tune of $500 for a pizza dinner. This kicked off a trend of people copying Aaron's example and leaving generous tips for waiters and waitresses across the U.S., organized by their charity, Aaron's Last Wish. Aaron's family has traveled the USA finding small restaurants and giving out more than $41,000 in tips, all to random workers in the service industry. To date, they've given out big tips over 100 times, and many more have donated in memory of people they've lost. Number 13. ZACK GALIFIANAKIS'S friend. When ZACK Galifianakis met an old lady who worked at his local laundromat, he was touched by her lifetime of hard work and upbeat, friendly personality. The 87-year-old used to be homeless and had volunteered to help at the laundromat, surviving solely on tips from customers. When she met Galifianakis in 1994, they soon became friends, and over the course of his rise to fame, the star of The Hangover has helped her pay her rent and live out her twilight years in a safe, warm apartment. He also occasionally brings her to movie premieres and has even introduced her to Renee Zellweger, who helped decorate her apartment. Maybe Hollywood isn't such a heartless place after all. Number 12. Formerly homeless couple pay it forward. Not many of us know what it's like to be homeless, but this Vermont couple certainly did. That's why when they found their feet again, they decided to return to the offices of the charity organization that saw them through their hard times. In fact, it was in this homeless shelter that they met and fell in love. After they broke out of their homelessness and moved into their first home, they started a charity to help others who were trapped in the same cycle of poverty they once were. Their heartwarming story made the national news and shows the transformative effect paying it forward can have. The couple now have stable lives and spend their days offering advice and financial assistance to people who need it. Number 11. Paying it forward with fast food. After one woman paid for the drink of a customer behind her at a Florida Starbucks, it set off an amazing chain of events. Following her act of generosity, 378 people parted with their hard-earned money to pay for drinks of the people lined up behind them. The trend continued when an Indiana woman at McDonald's drive-thru decided to pay for the meal of a father and his sons who were behind her on Father's Day. That woman's gesture of kindness continued to inspire customers throughout the day. 178 customers joined the queue, each one spontaneously agreeing to pay for the meal of the person behind them. Number 10. Reddit gives to teachers. It's no secret that schools often don't get the funding they need, and that teachers end up buying a good deal of their students' supplies. When Reddit Gifts heard that teachers can pay up to 77% of their students' school equipment, they decided to do something about it. The Reddit program now works to match donators with teachers so that they can buy the supplies they need without having to worry about funding. At last count, 14,000 teachers and 10,000 donators had signed up for the program, making teachers' jobs a whole lot easier. Number 9. Pies for the homeless. When one Philadelphia pizza shop owner saw the plight of the homeless in his city, he decided to create a program where his customers could donate $1 to prepay for slices of pizza to feed the local homeless population. Every time the customers would donate $1, the business owner would put a post-it note on his wall. The homeless were welcome to take these notes and redeem them for pizza slices. To date, 10,000 slices of pizza have been given to feed people in need. One woman in Detroit was so inspired by the pizza story that she decided to start her own Pie It Forward program for her pie company. Here, customers can take coupons that are stuck to her wall to redeem for a slice of pie that a previous customer has paid for. The policy encourages customers to think of others and remember that everyone deserves a slice of pie from time to time, whether they can afford it or not. Number 8. Helping mothers and others in need in St. Louis. When Carolyn Hassett saw the struggles homeless mothers face during her time as a volunteer at Our Lady's End Shelter in St. Louis, she decided to take her volunteering one step further. She tracked down a mother of 3 who had been staying at the shelter to give her money for gas, rent, food, supplies, and car insurance. Hassett didn't just touch the lives of the people she helped. Her example inspired Walmart to make their own donations to another 27 vulnerable people in need. Number 7. Paying a stranger's medical bill. After Christina Hormuth lost her mother to cancer, she was determined to spread awareness about rare forms of the disease in the hopes that it would lead to prevention. When she met a 26-year-old woman who was suffering with colon cancer, she decided to do her part by helping the woman pay for her treatment. Her good deed went viral, and Hormuth made an appearance on Oprah, which motivated her to continue her mission. Since then, her inspirational story has raised thousands of dollars to help many more cancer patients pay their medical expenses. Number 6. $10,000 in groceries. When Tracy Warshall decided to pay for one man's groceries at a grocery store, she probably had no idea as to the chain of events that it would inspire. When the man in front of Warshall realized he had forgotten his wallet and couldn't pay for his groceries, Warshall covered the cost without even thinking about it. The man asked Tracy's name, and by taking note of the shirt she was wearing, he was able to figure out that she worked at the Piedmont Cancer Institute. One day, about a month later, Warshall was at work when she found out the man had donated $10,000 to the institute in her name. An amazing donation in any situation, but even more so when it was a thank you for $7 worth of groceries. Number 5. Guy gives 6,800% tip. Eviction can be tough to deal with, especially when you live in New York City, a city world famous for its sky-high rent. Someone who was very aware of this was an anonymous man who prefers to be known only as Mike. Mike frequented a New York restaurant where he was often served by his favorite waitress. When the waitress told him she had been evicted, Mike did something surprising. He gave the waitress a $3,000 tip on his $40 meal, as well as a handwritten note encouraging her to pay it forward. I'm sure as soon as she gets a chance, she will. Number 4. Christmas cards for a grieving stranger. Things don't get much tougher than losing a loved one, but when it happens during the holidays, that's just insult on top of injury. But when Charlene Cologne lost her mother, her day was brightened a little when she received a card with $500 in gift certificates from a man she had never met before. It turned out the card was given to her by someone her mother had helped out many years ago. He gave the card to Charlene to pass on the kindness her mother had shown him. Charlene never found out the backstory to this remarkable gesture, and the donor doesn't want any fame, preferring instead to remain anonymous. Number 3. Firefighters get a free breakfast. When 2 exhausted firefighters walked into a diner in New Jersey and asked for the biggest cup of coffee they had, waiter Liz Woodward knew they'd had a rough day. But when the 2 asked for the bill, they were shocked to discover she had paid for their meal out of her own money. They were touched, especially as Liz was working a late shift and probably hadn't received many tips. The firefighters soon found out that she was raising money for her father's medical bills and was only halfway there, which made her generosity even more amazing. The firefighters decided to help out and posted the story online, where her kindness quickly went viral. Donations to Liz's fund started to flood in, and soon she had an extra $60,000 in her crowdfunding account. This heartwarming story just goes to show that it pays to be kind. Number 2. Paying it forward with kidneys. When Rick Rosamenti heard that his coworker had donated a kidney to someone in need, he was inspired. He decided to make a donation himself to another total stranger. Donating a kidney is a long and painful process, so giving it to someone you've never met is a huge gesture. But as hard as it was for Rick, it made a world of difference to the recipient, who had their life saved by his kindness. Rick's random act of kindness kicked off a string of events in which 30 strangers who heard about his donation each offered one of their kidneys to those in need of transplants. This chain reaction ended up saving many lives and connected the donors with their recipients forever. It also highlighted the need for people to sign up for organ transplants, and with 4,500 people dying every year waiting for a match, I hope even more people learn from his example. Number 1. Holocaust survivor funds Kenyan child's education. When Holocaust survivor Hildy Black made a small donation to an international sponsorship program, she had no idea of the effect it would have in the long run. That small donation went on to pay for one Kenyan child's education and ultimately put him through school for 8 years. The boy, Chris Mburu, went on to earn degrees from the University of Nairobi and Harvard Law School. He was so grateful to Hildy that he decided to seek her out and started a charity foundation in her name to help provide educational support to academically gifted Kenyan children. When he found Hildy, he invited her to Kenya to show her the life she had helped to make for him, and they ended up as lifelong friends. The story of Chris and Hildy eventually received media attention and was made into a movie called A Small Act. Its message touched audiences at the Sundance Film Festival, and in a final twist on the contagious generosity of paying it forward, someone in the audience anonymously donated $250,000. So clearly there are still people in the world who want to do good, and sometimes all they need is a gentle nudge from someone to do truly remarkable things. Do you have any idea for how you could pay it forward? Or maybe you already have. Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.